It is important to wear seatbelt because then you are seated the way the car is supposed to work when you crash. And you will have very little time to absorb energy. And if you wear a seatbelt, the seatbelt can help you absorb the energy from the crash early and more safely than if you're without a car seat and you have to absorb all the energy from a crash after you hit something. So the seatbelt has also, it's important to use it correctly, not just use it, because the belly belt are designed to hit the bone at your hip and not the stomach. So you have to have it down here so you can tighten it around your hip. Because in your stomach, even though you're strong and have a lot of muscles, it's only muscle. It doesn't protect you that good. You can get a lot of injuries if you don't have it correct. And on the shoulder belt, even though it's a 3-point, you get a large area which you protect around the ribs and also here on the shoulder. So it's important to have it tightly here on the shoulder and not here, because if you have it too low, it will also might come into your abdomen and crack your ribs. It is designed to take up energy here, here, and here. And when you use your seatbelt correctly, it will tighten straight after the crash before the airbags deploy, and then it will release you as harmless as possible into the airbag, and you create a longer distance for your crash, longer time for your crash, and better energy distribution of the crash. So that's really important. So securing everything in a car is really important. Both every passenger, every person, and everything inside the car, because without it, it can fly around and have bad impact. Like I told you earlier, it is a statistical question, and when I discuss this with people, I say it's the wrong first question. The first question is choose which accident you want to be involved in, and then we can talk about what's the best place to sit in. The safety system on different seatings are different. So the driver are naturally most exposed and has the biggest amount of safety system around. Also the front passenger has large safety systems around. And then you see a development of developed safety systems in the back seat over the last 10 years. And the first car, I believe 2 years ago, had airbags for the backseat passenger as well. So it's gradually going towards bigger systems, but it always also comes down to using the safety system the right way, because you can't add safety around if you don't make the system to work the right way. When it comes to children's seats, this is something that you have to do extra because it doesn't come with a car. And the anatomy of children are constantly changing. Smaller children have a bigger head than body, so to them the head and neck injuries are there just because of the anatomy. So have a rear-facing seat in a front collision makes the head it stops in the seat right away, and when you have secured children in seat that way, it's better, and when they grow, the heads become smaller in relation to the body. You have to, you can buy, because they get bigger, you don't have room for the baby seats, but as long as your child is willing and able to sit in the different seats, they should be in those seats for as long as possible. When you're able to, you have a booster high back seat with cushions and a pillow around. It is we recommend that they use it as long as they are physically able to sit in those, because it's hard to always be observant of your child, but if you're on a long trip, it's might be better to sleep in those chairs, because you can have your head rest on the pillow here. But if your child does not have that and sit in a normal seatbelt and falls asleep, you have the seatbelt goes out, and you can put yourself in a vulnerable situation or a position, which when taking a crash into that position, you're not as good protected. You're better protected sitting in the car seat 100%, but you can do a lot with just minor adjustments. It's not a recommendation from us, but it's more like a personal recommendation that from just to have a routine when you put your seatbelt on. You put your seatbelt on. If you have a jacket, you open it and you put you take the seatbelt under here, and then you tighten it and put it here. If you do that all the time, you teach your kids to do that all the time, that will be something that maybe once you don't do it, you're missing something. So for me to sit in the seatbelt and just start to ride a car, I feel anxious if I don't have, I can feel my seatbelt at the right place. And I think that's just so easy. It doesn't take me any longer time. It doesn't concern me in daily life. It's just just a natural thing to do, and that hopefully will put everyone. If everybody does that thing, you will be in a much better position, because you use the seatbelt as the engineers had intended for you to wear it, and then the safety system works as good as they can, given the situation. Absolutely. If you have don't wear a seatbelt, you are a danger both to yourself and the child, because you are not fastened and you can hit something. So the main issue is that you hit something or get hit by something. And with seatbelt, you can isolate that risk really good. And even though you have a big belly, you can still get your seatbelt to fit over here. So you can adjust it and do it the right way. So, and that's a recommendation, or it should be thought of, because if you take care of yourself as you usually do, you also take care of the child. And with the it is possible to do it with a 3-point seatbelt, and you also can get some pillows where you can have the belly belt attached, so it holds down and are not over the belly. Then you're not fast. Yeah, you're not secure. Even though some front seats are designed to be strong enough to take a person's weight, you are a danger both for yourself, because you're loose and you will hit something really hard in a high energy situation, but you can also injure the ones you are driving with, because the physics doesn't care who you are in that situation, but how heavy you are. If you're unsecure, you can harm yourself and others. You should use car seats. That's the first. Appropriate to your child. If you don't afford a child seat, a new child seat, that's not an excuse to not have a car seat, because these car seats are designed to protect your children. So if you can afford a new car seat that is right size for your child, you should use it, because it takes some of the concern that it might be weared out or broken. But first of all, that car seat is it's necessary. Yes, independent laboratories, what makes safety go forward. You can compare the results to other manufacturers, and you have test criteria that are probably common and good, and goes to test what is the most critical issues for your child in a collision. That is correct. You should have independent tests of child seats. You should always try to secure yourself and your children the best way possible, and you should read about it and get information about safety issues concerning car safety, and do your best to apply it and follow recommendations, because you never know when an accident will occur, but you can make routines that is easily to live by. And the other side of it is it's hard if you get in an accident and you see that just small things like having a child seat, wearing your seatbelt right, that could make the whole difference. between having your loved ones and not having your loved ones around you.